Now, I will call the roll.
Yes.
Try to again.
Okay,
Charles
thank you.
Goodowitz,
Charles Goodrow says yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Rainey,
Yes.
Russ,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Gloria,
Yes.
Paul Q,
Yes.
Aldor,
Yes.
Joe Bravo,
Yes.
Andy,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Donna,
Yes.
Sal Schechter,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what Sal
That's a
said.
yes.
He said yes.
Okay, thank you. Dawn,
Yes.
Carl,
Yes.
Joni, yes. We have another unanimous vote. On motion B, it passes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Joni.
Thank you, Carl. Thanks for your help.
Okay, now we're going to go to motion C, and Bill Kirshner will do this motion as well.
Motion to have insulation blown into the attic crawl spaces of 6 buildings. I move that the board hire Cut My Kilowatts, what a name, to have insulation blown into the attic crawl spaces of 6 buildings at a cost of $40,750 to be funded from the proceeds of the additional loan authorized at the June 14, 2000 board meeting.
A second, please. Tom Walschlager.
Back up. All of the residential buildings, with the exception of phases 2, 6, and the towers, have wood deck roofs installed. Thermal insulation means buildings come from insulating material that is blown into the attic crawl space between the building roof above and the third floor apartment ceilings below. This material has not been replaced or refreshed, as wood roofs have been replaced over the years and the original insulation remains in place. Over 40 plus years, this material has broken down and lost much of its thermal effectiveness. As third floor unit owners are aware from hotter internal temperatures and higher electric bills. We are developing a multi-year plan to address this in 42 buildings that comprises of phase 1, 3, 4, and 5. The goal will be to blow in enough material to achieve the industry's recommended minimum R value of 30 for the South Florida climate zone. The higher the R value, the greater the thermal efficiency of the insulation. The installation of new insulation is minimally invasive process that can be completed at any given building in just a few days. The contractor will utilize ducting running from the truck in the parking lot through the attic access into central laundry rooms, as well as third floor end apartments, where we may have to cut ceiling access points, which will be resealed and painted by Hollybrook maintenance personnel after the insulation is installed. Our purchasing department obtained bids as follows. Cut My Kilowatts, $40,750. American Insulation and Rodent Solutions, $42,900. Broward Insulation, $47,190. Recommendation by the CEO, I recommend Cut My Kilowatts to have insulation blown into the attic spaces of buildings, at 6 buildings, at the cost of $40,750.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Just to let everybody know what the R value of 30, that means 12 inches of insulation is going to be blown into the apartments in their crawl space area. Before I go to the board, I have Mr. Greg Schaefer to speak on this motion.
Here. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
No. Put the microphone closer to you.
How do we do that? Turn it on?
Mute. Green light will tell you.
Not working. Hello, hello. I did that.
It sounds like it's on.
Could you
Hello,
have
hello.
him speak into the
Testing,
mic
testing.
and give his unit number?
Testing, testing. I can talk loud if you want me to.
People, the remote people can't hear you then.
Oh,
Here we go. Swap that.
We got one. No.
Hello.
There we go.
Good evening, my name is Greg Schaefer. I live in building 2, apartment 310, and I have the hottest unit in Hollybrook. If it's a sunny day and the sun's out all day, the temperature in my apartment rises to 90 to 92 degrees with the air conditioning running all the time. My wife has asthma and COPD. We've been fighting this thing for 3 years. I have to say that the previous administration was no help at all. The current administration, including Carl, Paul, and Mitch, have been very helpful getting this to the forefront. My FP&L bills are tremendous. We keep everything in the apartment closed up. You'd think I live in the Bat Cave. We can't even cook because it's already 90 degrees, and cooking obviously adds heat. So I'm asking for your folks' help, and that's about it. Thanks in advance.
okay, thank you, Greg. Right, now we're gonna have discussion by the board.
Do you have the, I'm sorry,
Go ahead, Gloria.
I just was asked by a constituent, do you know the exact buildings that will be participating in the first group?
Yes, obviously, Mr. Schaefer's building was gonna be the first one.
Right.
And we're gonna do the oldest buildings first, which is building 1 through 6.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Anybody else at the board? Anybody on the phone?
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead, Henry.
I read, you explained what that R30 meant was 12 inches. But
Correct.
then I'm reading that's a recommended minimum. That's the minimum. So my question is very, I don't know how to phrase it. If it's a minimum, how much relief is that going to give them?
I'm gonna hand,
I think we had Florida Power and Light a couple of years ago that had a program in our complex similar to this. And I think the people that had it done, I don't know how many were, had paid for it themselves. Hollybrook did not pay for it. So I don't know how much they blew in, but it was 12 inches or 14 inches. So my basic question is, do we stay with the 12 inches or should we go 14 inches? I don't know. I'm not an engineer. So my question is, when I see the word minimum, that raises a red flag to me. Thank you.
okay, thank you, Henry. I'm gonna turn this over to Paul Ray.
What I'd like to point out, Henry, is that the residents are going to get considerable relief because they're going to get the benefit of 12 new inches of insulation plus whatever's left. Now, I know the motion is worded about how much that material has broken down, but when you put the existing insulation plus 12 new inches, the cumulative R value is going to be in the 37 to 38 range from everything we're told, and so they should expect considerable relief. If they're not removing the old insulation, it's additional to what's already there. Broken down though it may be, it will be augmenting what's already there.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Andy?
Thank you, Paul, for that answer.
Thank you, Henry. Andy?
I noticed on the specs on the following sheet, it says using R value approximately 10 inches of insulation. So we're talking 12 inches and this says 10 inches.
That's not correct. I asked Paul Ray to send you, the board of directors, the R15 and the R30, and in that it says that R30 is 12 inches. And I'm going to turn this over to Mitch Davis.
Yeah, it depends on the actual product. There are different manufacturers, and they've all been tested for R value. This particular product has an R value of 3 per inch. So the approximate insulation will be between 10 and 11 inches on top of what I had surveyed. And I surveyed probably 8 or 10 buildings, took pictures, went up into the attic, measured the existing insulation, which we have approximately 5 or 5.5 inches. So that 5 and 5.5 inches of existing will give us approximately 10 previous inches R value on top of the 30. So as Paul said, we're going to be in the 38 to 40 R value range when this is installed.
Okay, thank you, Mitch.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah.
I understand there's some venting and all the roofs. Is the wind gonna go through that venting and blow this insulation around into the corners and so forth?
Yeah, there is attic soffit venting there, and they block it off when they do their installation to stay away from the eaves to allow the flow of air in the attic.
Yeah, but
Yes.
in the future, is the air gonna blow all this stuff around and?
No, there's not enough air movement up there that's going to actually move, because don't forget the soffits are below roof level on the above the catwalks and the mansards, and the air doesn't flow up above. It flows would flow across or above, which it does not. It will not affect the installation of the material in the attics.
Those units that have already had blown-in insulation, do they have to have more on top of that, or are they gonna do it anyway?
Yeah, they'll just get
You'll get
cumulative insulation. It'll just keep adding to their total R value.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Andy. Saul?
If and when this is approved, we ought to do this as quickly as possible. This gentleman I listened to here a little while ago had a real severe one. I have another problem in building one, who's on my neck every day. She needs the insulation in her apartment. I'm building one on the 3rd floor. Please, if it's approved, to get it done as quickly as possible. We don't have to wait for the winter time to get the insulation taken care of. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Saul. Absolutely. We're going to get this done ASAP, and building 1 through 6, like I said, those are the ones that are going to be done. So that includes Mr. Schaefer's building and the lady that you're referring to from building 1.
I can add to that, Carl.
Carl, the buildings that are a little bit newer, like say building 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, is there something in the play for those people to have the benefit of this program as well?
Russ, this has hit us by a bit of a surprise with the insulation. I'm going to get together with Paul, and we're going to see what we can do before the budget meeting that comes up in April. So, Paul, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, can I add to what you're saying, Carl?
Go ahead.
2 things. To Mr. Goodowitz and the timetable, this is going to happen in the next couple weeks. We've told Mr. Schaefer that by early August, this will be done. Unlike the roof replace, there's no requirement for a permit to do this insulation. As far as the longer-term plan, I would consider these 6 buildings to be a proof of concept, and we've specifically front-loaded the timing so that we can demonstrate how much relief these units get, so that when we go through the budget process in the fall, I already have a placeholder in that budget to do the next 10 or so buildings next year and get the phases that require this over the next 3 years.
Does FPL have any plan in place, or do they have any incentives for us at this point?
Not currently. Not currently.
No?
Can I speak to that, please?
Don White would like to make a comment, please.
Go ahead, Dawn.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm concerned about the snowbirds who live in the 3rd floor of buildings 1 to 6, and whose condos you will have to go into to do that touch up or finish, reseal and paint. Is there someone that is responsible for notifying these snowbirds so that they are aware that someone will be having to go in, I assume with their monitor, to make sure that this all gets done properly? Thank you.
Paul, you want to just make a little comment on that?
Sure, this is only going to really affect the end units in each building. So 2 unit owners affected, we will work through the monitor or the unit owner as appropriate to let us get access and to cut access if there's not already access to the attic through the closets. I mean, please give faith to the words in the backup about minimally invasive. This will not be damaging to their apartments. This is very minimal access required.
Does that answer your question, Dawn?
Yes, it does, but I still would like someone to send an email to individuals like Building 3, Unit 310 is a snowbird. I'm trying to think Building 1, or Building 5 is a snowbird. I just need my snowbirds to know that you're going in. That's my concern. I'm not concerned about you doing it right. I'm concerned that you let the owner know you will be going in.
Okay. All right, they will be alerted to the process.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
This
Tom?
is Paul Q.
Okay, all right.
May I make a statement, Mr. President?
Yes, go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, because I got a little curious while the discussion was going on about R values, and I went to a website where I selected Florida and I selected Broward County, and of course the minimum standard is R30, but the recommended certainty, I don't know if that's an error, but the recommended is R38. I will vote in favor of the motion, but I'm curious as to when they go in there and how much more, what the marginal cost is to blow in an extra couple of inches and probably to raise it to R38. Has Paul looked into that? Do we have figures for the additional 8 R factor?
Well, like Paul mentioned before, there is already insulation in these crawl spaces, approximately 5 inches. So you can add 5 inches to that 11 inches and you're going to get approximately 16 inches in insulation above the third floor apartments. We're not removing the old insulation, we're just adding new insulation to the old insulation.
Okay, I'll buy it. All I did, I went to a website and saw what the recommended value was, and I just thought it was worth mentioning. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Paul.
Carl, that raised an issue for me. This is Joni. I really thought that the questions tonight were really, really good. So I'm just wondering, is Mr. Schaefer, who spoke on this, is he satisfied with what's being proposed for his building, since he clearly has a problem and it's creating a health issue for his spouse? Is he satisfied with this level of insulation that's going to be blown in?
Let me just say this. We are going to be doing the 6 buildings. I'm sure Mr. Schaefer will let us know whether this process works or not.
Okay, but I'm sort of listening to what Paul Q just said. You know, we're going to go in. Hollybrook has a habit of sometimes doing things first one way, and then we have to go in and correct it, which usually ends up being even more expensive. I mean, have we really, like, if some building has less than 5 inches currently, then how much marginally more would it cost to make it up to code or up to a preferred level for these unit owners on the 3rd floor in these phases that don't have a concrete roof?
Absolutely, Johnny, I agree with you.
That's what I'm
Russ,
about.
Russ,
I don't want to do it twice.
please,
I want to do it once.
one at a time. Go ahead, Joni.
Well, thank you for chiming in though, Russ. But my point is, it's not that I'm against this. I'm just wondering how much marginally more expensive it would be to create an even better environment for our unit owners, rather than do it now and then maybe go, oh no, that didn't work quite well enough, and then we have to go in again and, you know, take the time and effort. Yeah.
Point of order.
Who's that?
Point of order.
Go ahead.
Who's saying?
Randy
order.
Fortier said point of order.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead, Randy.
We're talking about something here we have no business talking about. These bids have already been brought up. They were sealed bids. This is what we have to work with.
Okay,
Can't
thank
say,
you,
well, we
Randy.
have to add more stuff to it. This is what we have.
Joni, if I may say, all right, I believe Paul Quenville asked the same question you're asking, and they said that the minimal was 12 inches. There's already 4 to 5 inches in there of the old,
Insulation.
thank you. And the minimum is 12. They'll be between 14 and 15 inches above the third floor apartments.
Earl, may
Sir,
I?
I don't think that's a point of order, though. But go ahead. I think this is pertinent to the discussion.
Anytime I
I
can.
think that point of order uncalled for.
All right, thank you.
Carl?
Bill?
Call the vote, please.
Okay, we're gonna call the vote. Joni, please, let's take a vote to call the vote.
Okay, the question's been called, apparently, on motion C.
Well, no, you need to take.
No,
a-
we're not voting on motion C. We're voting on calling the question and end the discussion.
Correct.
All those in favor of ending the discussion, vote yes. All those opposed, vote no. Sal Goodowitz.
Sal Goodowitz says yes.
Carol.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Amy.
Yes.
Russ.
No.
Henry.
Yes.
Gloria.
Yes.
Paul Q.
Yes.
Paul Dorr.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Andy.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Donna.
Yes.
Sal Schechter.
No.
Don.
Yes.
Carl.
Yes?
And I'm going to vote no, too. So we have 3 no votes, and so 15 yeses and 3 nos. We're going to call the question.
Okay, thank you, Joni.
You're welcome. Okay, now we're really voting on motion C, and motion C is motion to have insulation blown into the attic crawl spaces of 6 buildings starting in phase 1 and going for buildings 1 through 6. All those in favor vote yes. All those opposed vote no. I will call the roll again. Sal Goodowitz.
Sal Goodowitz says yes.
Carol.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Rainey.
Yes.
Russ.
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Gloria.
Yes.
Paul Q.
Yes.
Paul Dorr.
Yes.
Bill Bravo.
Yes.
Andy.
Yes.
Bill.
Bill.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Donna.
Yes.
Sal Schechter.
No.
Dawn.
Yes.
Carl.
Yes?
Joni votes yes, so we have 17 yes votes and 1 no vote. The motion carries.
Okay, thank you, Joni.
May I ask something? Or not?
No, it's, on motion C, it's closed, Russ.
Oh, no, I just want to ask a question of an overlying concept. How does one ask a question after the fact? Is that at the end of the meeting?
No, you cannot ask a question after the fact. Okay, thank you, Russ. We're gonna go on to motion D.
Wait, Carl, before you do that, could I just get a clarification for my notes?
Absolutely.
All right, on motion C, who called the question and the discussion?
Bill Kirschner.
Okay, and that didn't need a second, right?
Yeah, it was.
No?
Okay,
It was.
and who did it? I'm sorry, it's hard to see on the phone. Did Rainey call the question on motion B? Just to confirm?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Just for my, it's really hard on the phone to see what's happening.
We understand if you run into a problem, don't hesitate to ask.
All right, thanks again.
You're very
Bye.
welcome. Okay. Now we're going to go to motion D, Tom Walschlager.
So long, I thought I did that. Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the board hire True Image Landscaping to trim the trees on the PGA Golf Course at a cost of $20,075 to be funded as follows from Schedule C of the 2017 fiscal year budget with an allocated amount of $20,000.
Second? Second?
Who seconded it?
Joe Bravo.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, as indicated during the budget process, this is the second step in implementing a 3-year plan to prune and trim all the trees that need trimming on the golf course. We're working with landscape contractors to prioritize the various species of trees that need to be trimmed at this time. Our purchasing department provided bids as follows. True Image Landscape, $20,075. Knoll and Junior Landscaping, $25,625. And Rainforest Management, $30,250. And would recommend that you look at the next sheet if you have any further questions on the bids and such on any of these. You'll find them on the next page.
Okay, Tom, can you just please read the recommendation by our CEO? Pardon?
I'm going, I haven't got there yet.
Okay.
Okay. I recommend, speaking as the CEO, I recommend True Image Landscape to trim the trees on the PGA Golf Course at a cost of $20,075.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Okay, I'm going to go to the board that's present here. Tom Walschlager.
Yes, just to let everybody know, this is the same group of individuals that trimmed the trees the last time on the first time around. They will also, more than likely, unless something drastic happens, be the people who will probably trim the trees on the third of the 3 processes that are going on. They did a very good job the first time, and the thing that probably made them the most interesting to most of the golfers was that they didn't come in here with giant equipment and such, didn't destroy the golf course, had smaller equipment to work with, and had no complaints whatsoever from the time they were here until they finished with any problems that were done. So, again, I found these people years ago from Harry Ferguson at Pembroke Lakes, and they were highly recommended by anybody that's ever used them, and I think from my standpoint and my talking with Paul Ray that we've been very happy with what's been done to this point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Anybody else at the present board right here want to comment? All right, anyone on the phones?
Yes, Dawn?
Okay, who's this?
Dawn would like to.
All right, we're going to let the lady who goes first. Go ahead, Dawn.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Henry. Tom, I remember that Terry in Building 7 had a tree. I don't know if that tree is part of this, or was it done separately through Broward because of the situation with it? Can you just update me on that, please?
I don't know.
Well, actually, I could answer that question. We are taking care of that in-house, Dawn.
Thank you very much.
Mitch is on top of it, or on the side of it, wherever you want. Right. Okay, thank you, Dawn. I think, Henry, you're up?
Yeah. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the motion, but I'm just reading underneath there. Please see attached sheet for further information. What attached sheet? In other words, I'm up here in Massachusetts. Are you people getting a sheet as the meeting is beginning? You have an additional sheet?
No, it's in the packet. You should have gotten that sheet right in back of your motion.
That was sent today.
Twice I've seen it. I didn't know what I was looking for because I don't have any other information.
Okay, Henry, I was just informed by Andy Ingram that that was sent separately today.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else on the phone have any comments on this motion? Okay, and nobody present? Okay, Joni, you wanted, we're going to vote on this motion?
Sounds good. Okay, we're voting on motion D, and it's been moved and seconded to approve the tree trimming on the PGA golf course this time I have at a cost of $20,075. All those in favor vote yes. All those opposed vote no. Sal Goodowitz.
Oh, Goodowitz votes yes.
Carol.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Rainey.
Yes.
Russ.
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Gloria.
Yes.
Paul Q.
Yes.
Paul Dorr.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Andy.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Donna.
Yes.
Saul Schechter.
Yes.
That was a yes.
Okay, thank you, Carl. I couldn't hear that. John White.
Yes.
Carl.
Yes?
And Joni is yes. A unanimous vote, which means 18 people voted yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Joni.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go to the last motion. Motion E. Once again, Mr. Bill Kershaw.
Motion to reconfigure Phase 6 tennis courts 13 and 14 for additional pickleball courts. I move that the board release funds from our satellite tennis court reserves, which has $50,749 available for expenditure this fiscal year. This will be used to reconfigure the Phase 6 tennis courts 13 and 14 for additional pickleball courts, which will be completed by fast dry courts at a cost of $5,900.
Second by Saul Schechter.
Back up. Over the last several years, Hollybrook has experienced a significant increase in players utilizing pickleball courts, currently configured with the 4 tennis courts located in Phase 6, courts 11 and 14. The pickleball lines were added several years ago when the courts were last resurfaced and currently consist of 1 pickleball court per each single tennis court. There are now significant periods during the season when players have to wait to play pickleball as all 4 existing courts are in use. This reconfiguration will reorient the yellow pickle lines on courts 13 and 14 to allow 2 regulation-sized pickleball courts for each tennis court. This will bring the total number of pickleball courts available for the 2017-18 season from 4 to 6. If the demand continues to exceed the court's availability, we will be prepared to do the same modifications next year on courts 11 and 12 and further increase the number of pickleball courts from 6 to 8 in the summer of 2018. Our purchasing department received bids as follows. Fast Dry Courts, $5,900. Sports Services LLC, $8,400. Agile Courts, $8,710. Recommendation by the CEO, I recommend Fast Strike Courts to reconfigure Phase 6 tennis courts 13 and 14 for additional pickleball courts at a cost of $5,900.
Okay, thank you very much, Bill. All right, any questions on this motion from the people on the phone?
Yes, Dawn White would like to comment, please.
Go ahead, Dawn.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would just like to thank our pickleball chairperson.
Dawn, 1 second, I apologize. We have Stu Clark would like to speak on this motion.
Thank you.
Sorry, Dawn. Sorry, Stu.
No problem.
Are you guys hearing something? I'm not.
No.
Open your ears up.
Okay.
That's a Brooklyn sense of humor. Go ahead, Stu.
I'd just like to thank
Yeah, I was hearing nothing. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, Joan. I'd just like to thank the association for what they're thinking of doing. Can you hear me? And adding additional courts, which will obviously take care of the amount of people we have who are now interested and are playing the game. We've been playing this game now for at least 3 years. Guys like me and Brad and other people have come to the point, approximately 20 to 30 of us, where we enjoy the game and each other so much that we really feel that it's time in the near future to have what we consider actual pickleball courts. The directors, or some of the directors, should go over to Century